this was a monumental day. Colorado really took a step forward in protecting the public, trying to prevent future gun violence.
Colorado's controversial red flag gun law is heading to the governor's desk. The Democrats' sponsored legislation would allow law enforcement to seize guns from those deemed a threat to themselves or to others. It's opposed by some gun advocates who say the bill goes too far. Our next guest explains why he falls into that category. Weld County, Colorado Sheriff Steve Reams joins us now. Sheriff, good morning to you, and thank you for coming on with us. So now this bill heads to the governor's desk. He has already pledged to sign it. So what do you do now?
Well, obviously the bill is going to become a law, and it really doesn't change the perspective that I've had all along. I think this law is wholly unconstitutional for many reasons, and it's going to cause us to have to push this into the judicial realm and try to get a higher court ruling, and hopefully get the bill blocked that way.
But for the time after it's signed, it becomes law. Do you enforce it?
Well, the bill will become law January 1 of 2020, so we have a little bit of time to work through the judicial process if possible. But no, if the bill becomes law, I don't have the option to enforce this. I think it violates the Constitution, and that in turn would force me to violate my oath of office.
Well, that of course would then be not enforcing the laws on the books, and that would mean you would go to jail. Are you willing to go to jail over this?
Well, obviously that's not what I'm hoping to do. That would be the last line of resort. What I can see happening is if one of these orders is issued to my agency or to me, I would want to have an in-camera review with the judge who's issuing the order and explain the difficulties. But that could result in a contempt charge from the judge if I refuse to serve said order. And contempt comes with the penalty of a fine, confinement in my jail, or it can just be the judge saying you're in contempt, and that furthers the judicial process.
There are a lot of other sheriffs who side with you on this, and we went on to look up exactly where this red flag law has been enacted in 14 states so far and Washington, D.C. It's been proposed in 21 states. More than 200 counties across 9 of those states where the law has been enacted have vowed to not enforce the new state measures to restrict gun access. 132 of them have declared themselves to be Second Amendment sanctuaries. Do you see that happening in your county?
Well, my county's already declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuary county. My commissioners have stood strong alongside me. But what's ironic in the state of Colorado is that the red flag bills that you're seeing passed in other places in the country aren't nearly as aggressive as the one that is here in Colorado, which is a whole new breed of red flag bill.
So could you be more specific on that, Sheriff? How specifically does the bill that's making its way to the governor's desk, how does it go too far in your view?
Well, this red flag bill actually requires or provides for what's called an ex parte hearing, so the person whose guns are being removed would not know that a court proceeding was happening until law enforcement showed up to serve that order and serve a search warrant that could be issued by a judge simultaneous to the order. So not only would law enforcement be showing up to a person's home to serve them an order, but they would also be conducting a search warrant simultaneously to remove all the firearms that that person either possesses or could have possession of. You can see that that's a big overreach from the red flag bills that are passed in any other state.
Well, you know what the state attorney general, Phil Weiser, says. He's a Democrat, and he has weighed in on this. He said the sheriffs who don't want to enforce the measure should resign. Why not just leave your post if you don't think you can carry out the laws that they sign into the books there?
Well, I'm well aware of the Attorney General's comments, and bless his heart, he's entitled to his comments. But I'm doing what I think is right by my constituents. I'm standing up for their constitutional rights, and someone has to. If I just walk away from this position, if I just walk away from my office, then basically what I'm saying is I won't uphold my oath and protect the constituents and their constitutional rights. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. I plan to pushed this as far as I can, and you know, we'll try to get a ruling from a higher court. And if the Attorney General wants to defend the bill, he'll have that opportunity too, I'm quite certain.
It does seem like there is an effort at least to get the sheriffs involved here. Tom Sullivan is the state rep who co-sponsored this bill. He lost his son in a mass shooting. He was only 27 years old. He believes that this is the answer to prevent tragedies like that from happening. The House Majority Leader in your state has called on sheriffs critical of the law to help craft protocols regarding it. Are you willing to do that finally, Sheriff?
I'm happy to be on that committee to try to figure out if there's a way to make this red flag bill work in favor of the citizens, but I don't know if that's possible. You know, the tragedies that have affected the representative who was sponsoring this and many people in Colorado, they're tragedies, no doubt, but many of those tragedies are based in mental health concerns, and this bill doesn't address that, and I don't think any protocol will add to that factor.
All right, Sheriff, we appreciate your time this morning. We will see where all this goes as that